So you're using Office 365 or Google for your company's email. Question is, do you need a separate backup? So one of the hottest questions and topics out there revolves around Microsoft Office 365 and Google in terms of emails. Are they backed up, right? Or do you need something separate? So there's a lot of discussion around it. I thought, hey, it'd be great to answer some of these questions. So in this video, we're going to cover is, do they back up your data? And if they don't, what solutions are there? So first question is, do they back up your data? And the answer is no, right? There is retention built in. We'll pick Microsoft Office 365 as the example. Most businesses that we work with use that. And so they have some built-in retention tools that can keep your emails around if you delete them, perhaps accidentally or maybe voluntarily. And you can retain those in your deleted folder if you delete them from there for, let's say, 14 days up to 30 days. But after that, really they fall off. Now, there are some advanced features you can use like legal hold and tools you can put in place to keep emails forever, but it's still not a backup, right? So let's use this to go back a few years as an example. Most likely, before you went to Microsoft or Google, you had an email server in-house, and most companies are using Exchange. So let's use that as an example. And if you're a system administrator, this will make sense to you. You had an Exchange server in your office, just like you have your other servers running. And you probably had another backup, right? I hope you did. Either it was a tape backup back then or an external hard drive. And even then, you hopefully also had a third layer of replication to an offsite data center. So you had your Exchange server in your building, backing up to another media, and then sending it offsite to a data center, just in case something were to happen to your building. Well, the funny thing is one of the biggest misconceptions is, if we went to the cloud, right, to Office 365, they're going to host all our email and take care of all the backup. But the truth is they don't. In fact, let's take a look at the actual Microsoft Service Agreement, and this will illustrate what I'm talking to you about. So even Microsoft themselves make a claim in their agreement to tell you, hey, we're going to deliver this email service to you, or OneDrive or SharePoint, but we're not liable for your data. So you can go on to Microsoft Service Agreement online. Here's the URL. And of course, feel free to read through this whole thing. It's pretty long, but you need to accept this when you first sign up for an account. And if you go to this section here, service availability, and won't read word for word, but you can see it on the screen here. I'll highlight this. What 6B, serviceability section B, is basically saying is, hey, our services, or our service to you, the client, is to keep your services up and running. So let's say your email or OneDrive or SharePoint, Teams. They're basically, what you're paying Microsoft for is to host those services and make them available to you at a very high rate, right? 99.99% of the time, which they're good at. But one thing they're clearly telling you this is that Microsoft is not liable for any disruption or loss you may suffer as a result of their system being out. So again, the likelihood of Microsoft or Google having an outage is pretty rare. It has happened, but it's pretty rare, and it can happen in the future. But what they're saying here, and it kind of makes sense, right? Microsoft cannot be liable for everybody's data stored on their systems, but you may not be able to retrieve your data from their system if they have an outage. Also, they state it here in the last sentence, very specifically, we recommend that you regularly back up your content and data that you store on the services, on their own platform, or store using a third-party app or service, right? So the reason they're saying that is, hey, us, Microsoft or Google, we're here to provide a service to you, but in terms of your data, that's yours, and you should back that up with other means, right? And that's an important thing to note because, again, a lot of IT systems admins, IT directors, business owners, especially small businesses, just think, hey, I'm paying Microsoft. They're handling that platform. They serve my email, they back it up, it's all good. But there's definitely a fine line between retention and backup. And one of the most pertinent examples we can tell you today that's happening are cyber attacks. So if you were to get a ransomware type of malware on your Office 365 account, and all of a sudden your data is encrypted, Microsoft basically throws their hands up and says, hey, we didn't have any outage. Our system's up and running. We've lived up to our end of the service, but you didn't back up your data. So they can't help, essentially, right? So what is the solution, right? I think we've made it clear Microsoft and Google do not provide true backup of your data, but what are the solutions? And the good thing is there's plenty of them out there. I've got a couple up here just as an example, but there's tons of different companies. Backupify is one that we've worked with and used, and they actually have a service for whether you use Office 365 or use the G Suite. but you can back up your data, which includes your email, SharePoint, contacts, calendars, Teams, messaging. And they have various plans. These different software providers do things a little bit differently, but essentially it's, they're all backing up. Some of them have a limited retention. One feature I really like with Backupify is that you can retain all your folder structure. So, a lot of people will use different folders in their Outlook, their inbox, and they'll have subfolders. And so if you were to go to retrieve a backup, you can just retrieve one specific folder, one specific email, and it's very intuitive. It's very easy. Now, any of you that have used the native solutions within Office 365, let's say your company is undergoing some investigation, there needs to be discovery by a law firm. If you've done it, you know how much work it is within Microsoft just to go retrieve that data, right? And do discovery and export a PST file. Well, with solutions like Backupify or any of these email solutions, make it, even if you're not having to restore a backup, but you just need to go search for emails, they make it much easier to export and create PSTs and do that sort of thing. Another common case is that we run across a lot are when employees leave, right? The reality is they leave and perhaps they'll get replaced by a new employee and a month or two goes by and you're looking for a very specific email, maybe a subject line for something that this new person should be taking on, and you realize the emails are gone. They've been deleted. Maybe the prior employee just deleted them and they've been in the deleted folder too long, and now they're just gone from Microsoft. So this would be a solution where you can recover those things, right? Because sometimes you don't know what an employee is deleted, whether it's on purpose or not. It's just been deleted. So really cool feature to have, again, on top of Microsoft, on top of Google, just to ensure that your data is there. In terms of pricing, most sites you have to fill out a form, but I found one here. I'm not very familiar. I haven't used this service, but they do have pricing on there, which I thought was neat. So if we look here for Commvault's Office 365 backup, looks like they start at $4 per user per month. That seems to be in line with what I've seen, $3 to $5, depending on the features, the amount of data that you need backed up, is about the going rate. So it's pretty inexpensive. Unfortunately, we see most companies employing this after something's happened, right? They've had accidental data deletion. Somebody's left and deleted it intentionally. They really wish they had that data. Maybe they're going through a lawsuit for compliance is another good example where they really could use that data. And of course, in the worst scenario, you have some sort of cyber breach and you have encryption. And so you definitely need these type of solutions. Usually when a company's gone through one of those scenarios, they're like, okay, great. I definitely want this now. Not many companies, choose to, let me just go get backup just for the fun of it. So hopefully this video is more of a proactive approach. If you're an IT director, systems admin, and you're watching this and you've been curious, like, is my data really secure? Again, it's not about Microsoft or Google not being secure. It's just that's not even their promise to you, right? That's not their service to you. They're not providing a backup service. There are solutions out there, and definitely recommend putting them in place. If you need any help searching for those solutions, researching them, testing them, we've worked with a handful. We'd be happy to help. Just click the link below. There'll be a link to our website, a way to contact us, and we can definitely help you. And again, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification if you'd like to be reminded anytime we put out a new video. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.